All right, welcome to Tribulation 515, 2011. Today is May 30th, Wednesday. Out here in California, it looks like it's going to be another fairly sunny day. A very nice day. But that being said, you know, the world continues to spiral downwards into chaos. This morning, man, there's all sorts of freaky-deaky news out there, plus your normal gloom and doom. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be talking about a whole lot of positive stuff. But the story that seems to be freaking everybody out is the guy down in Florida, the naked dude who was eating the other naked dude's face. And, you know, when police tried to stop him, he just looked up and he growled. And the cop, blam, 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 had to unload a couple of clips into him. And then, you know, personally, I'll tell you, my friends, you know, nowadays, whether you're watching the news, doesn't matter which channel, but, you know, whether it's the police or the government, you know, everything that we're getting is somehow filtered or distorted. So what the truth is remains to be seen. But I was reading an article last night on the Fox News site, and the police were like, oh yeah, you know, we've had, you know, several of those happening already, and they were blaming it on a street drug called bath salts, which is some form of LSD. But who knows? Who knows what the truth is? But this guy sure sounds like he was either A, some kind of a zombie, or B, possessed. You know, take your pick. Either one isn't too good. And the question is it spreading? You know, as of this morning, I'm reading the story, and they're kind of making it sound like it was an isolated incident. But that's what the police always do. You know, like, oh, it's just one dude. But yesterday it was like 4 or 5, you know, cases of people turning into zombies and eating each other. You know, another crazy story that's kind of out there is, I picked it up on the internet. I think it might have been on Fox News, but, you know, they discovered what they think might be a UFO at the bottom of the Baltic Ocean, and they actually discovered it like a year ago. And you know, if you can find the news story, I'll try and link it into this blog. But you know, there's this perfectly round shape at the bottom of the ocean. It's about 200 meters wide. And, you know, the article said that when they found this thing a year ago, like June 19th of 2011, that it was all over the news all around the world. And you know what? I follow the news pretty closely. And, you know, I give you the news on this Tribulation 515 blog. But, you know, I don't recall seeing such a story. So them saying that it was, you know, all around the world, I don't know. You know, we are in day 381, the second year of the tribulation, and my friends, things are getting crazy. But just to finish up that story, they're saying that, you know, it's basically a year later, and they have pulled together a scientific expedition, and as of June 1st, they're going to go down there and find out what that thing is. You know, is it a UFO? What is it? So that's 2 days away. 2 days away. We got so much crazy stuff happening right now. It isn't funny. You know, on the extreme weather front, you know, we got earthquakes ripping all across the globe, everywhere. You know, Italy just got hammered. You know, they're still having tremors and aftershocks. Like, you know, I saw at least 16 people died, maybe more. But there was an earthquake in South Africa. You know, the earthquakes are everywhere. The polar caps are melting. You know, volcanoes are going off everywhere. The one in Russia just blew its top and sent a plume, you know, 7 miles into the atmosphere. And of course, you know, for those of you that have your head stuck in the sand or up your ass or wherever, where you're living in some delusional bubble thinking that everything is rainbows and unicorns, you know, hey, continue on. You know, nothing's happening. That's all just in my mind. You know, the tribulation is, it's just in us crazy people's heads. You know, we're the paranoid ones. You're the smart ones, you know. Just going about your daily lives, turning on MTV, watching Snookie and the boys down at the beach. That's reality, yeah. So just stay the course. And of course, I've been telling you about Fukushima, how it is just an ongoing cataclysmic disaster that's going to create a circle of death around the globe. The latest news stories is that they're finding radiation in the tuna that's being caught out in the Pacific. No duh. You got Fukushima just leaking radiation into the atmosphere and into the ocean, and nobody's doing anything about it. The Japanese government and the company that owns that facility, they're just lying. And, our government, God bless them, I love America, and our president, President Obama, he is so awesome. But what's he doing about it? Absolutely nothing, Speaking of which, look at Syria. That massacre has been going on for like a year, and just the other day they killed a mess load of little kids. And we got our generals saying, hey, we need to do something. But our beloved president, Barack Obama, I love him. He's awesome. But what's he doing about it? Nothing. He gave this big speech a year ago, when he bombed the hell out of Libya, saying, oh, we can't stand around while people are getting massacred. Well, where's that policy now? Obviously our president, God bless him, I love him, Barack Obama, Obama Salama to all my, fellow Obama, brainwashed brethren. But obviously he can speak out of one side of his mouth and then speak out of the other side of his mouth. He can lie to us one day and then lie to us the other day. But we still love him, man, because he's Barack Obama. That's right. So Syria is a complete mess. It's that, that stuff isn't going away. Assad, the dictator nutcase over there, he's got pals, Vladimir Putin, China, North Korea, Iran, they're all supporting him. So there's an axis of evil, It's just like before World War II, except for those of us that got our heads buried in the sand, nothing's going on. Don't worry about it. And of course, Iran, continues their march towards getting a nuclear warhead. And of course, our beloved president, God bless him, he's so awesome. What's he doing about it? Well, he's going to sign some kind of a peace treaty because you know what? He got the Nobel Peace Prize. So, even though it's not worth the paper it's written on, you could go to the bathroom the next day and wipe your ass with that piece of paper, but he's going to sign it because then he can say, you know what? I'm the Nobel Peace Prize winner and look at this. I just signed a treaty with Iran. There's nothing to worry about. Go ahead and turn on MTV and find out what Snookie and the boys are up to. Right, because that's reality. That's what's important. And of course, I linked into my last blog, it was this defense guy, saying that, whether it's Russia or Iran or whoever, nowadays you only need one nuclear missile, an EMP nuclear device that would, in just one explosion, not even landing in America, being blown up 30 miles above our continent, would wipe out the complete electrical grid and in one day throw us back into the Stone Age and create complete chaos and bring on, without electricity, man, America would be dead in the water. Within 30 days, man, there'd be people dying. And of course, there's all the other little creepy things, like all the flesh-eating bacteria that seems to be breaking out, here, there, and wherever. The financial world, continues to be rocked. The EU is going under. And you know what? The American dollar is going to collapse too because we have this thing called the national debt where we're trillions and gazillions and bazillions of dollars in debt. And, our president, God bless him, he's so awesome. His one solution is to tax all the rich people. And you know what? That may well happen. Who knows? But, there's nothing to worry about. Just go ahead and turn on MTV and find out what Snookie and the boys are up to, because obviously I've been, bringing up this economic collapse forever and it hasn't happened. So, I'm just imagining the whole thing. So, the stock market, hey, the rich keep getting richer, and Obama, God bless him, our beloved president, he keeps telling us how the rich ain't paying their fair share and we got to tax them more. But the only thing he can point to, as far as saying, hey, I know what I'm doing and the economy is recovering is the stock market. He's like, hey, look at the stock market. But at the stock market, the only people making money are the filthy, stinking rich. Not us poor people. So, if you don't see the contradiction in that, then, hey, turn on MTV and find out what Snookie and the boys are up to, because that's reality, like what they're doing, that's reality. We're in a window now, where, crazy stuff's going to be happening. We got the Olympics coming and, one of the conspiratorial things out there is the some dude invented the Illuminati card game back in the 80s, but man, every one of those cards in that deck has pretty much happened. The guy had a card with the Twin Towers getting destroyed. It happened, And anyway, there's some cards in that deck. Like one of them shows Big Ben being destroyed, and the people running have the colors of the Olympic colors on their clothing. Is that just a coincidence? Probably not. But one of the cards also shows like a green gas cloud, and the card is called population decrease. And the cloud forms a skull. Well, is that like the zombie gas? If you ever watched the zombie movies, there's basically two ways that the zombies get going. I know in one version of the zombie movies, it's like a meteor or a comet or something that goes past our planet and releases some kind of chemical or something into the air, and all of a sudden the dead start rising. But whether it's a meteor or it's the chemtrails, the planes, the beryllium, or whatever the heck it is they're dropping on our heads every single day, or in some of the zombie movies, it's the government that creates this green toxic gas that they show a truck driving and a can falls out and down into a river, and the stuff starts spreading, and once again the zombie virus starts spreading around the world. But you know what? Those are just movies, man. The fact that we have a story of some guy eating some other guy's face, hey, it's just an isolated incident. What I recommend, turn on MTV, find out what Snookie and the boys are up to, because that's what's really important, not any of this crazy make-believe stuff going on around the world. I don't know what else to add, because, I'm trying to be positive, I really am. But we got Venus transiting the sun. I saw an article just the other day. They said all this increased sun activity, all the CMEs and solar flares, that is blasting all sorts of radiation at the Earth, which might be causing all these earthquakes and volcanoes. But they said it might literally be changing the carbon molecules on the planet. Going from carbon, which is 666. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and 6 electrons, changing it into what they call carbon-7, which is 616, where there's only 1 neutron. But what they were saying is that the sun is still heading towards its peak in 2013, and guess what? 13 is 616, right? So, is something happening out there? Possibly. But it could just be all crazy, paranoid, schizophrenic stuff. And reality is MTV. Turn it on and find out what Snookie and the boys are up to. Because I guarantee you, whatever they're doing, getting drunk, causing trouble, being self-centered, that's reality. That's what's really happening in the world. But, with the sun, there's this huge coronal hole that's been kind of rotating around. And, one of the guys I watched that kind of gives the space weather, he said that should line up with the Venus transit. So Venus will transit across the sun in conjunction or aligned with this coronal hole. And what does that mean? I don't know, man. I'm not a scientist, but, sounds like it could have some kind of implications. And, of course, we got another lunar eclipse happening. Just one way or another, man, every day is a new day, and with crazy stuff happening. We're living in the most amazing times, 2012, 2013, the Tribulation. For those of us that have ears to hear and eyes to see. Others of us, are watching Snookie and the boys on MTV, because that's what's important. So you know what? I think I'm just going to sign off with that. If you're worried about all this doom and gloom, think positive, turn on MTV, watch Snookie and the boys, because if you do, you'll know what's really going on, and you'll feel really good about yourself, because when you look at their crappy lives and how self-centered and just, they're basically scumbags, but when you watch them, it makes you feel good about yourself. And that's what's important, right? That's reality. Feel good about yourself. Don't worry about the fact that the world's going to hell in a handbasket. All right, stay positive. God bless y'all. Get your tribulation on. All right, catch you later.